In the gentle quiet of this late evening, as you slowly settle into a comfortable position and allow your breathing to soften, let me take you into a story that drifts far from ordinary history, a story whispered across continents, tucked away in museums, hidden in vaults, and debated endlessly by archaeologists and mystics alike. Tonight, we will travel calmly into the deep and shimmering mystery of the crystal skulls, 13 perfectly carved quartz skulls that some claim carry memories of ages long forgotten. Let your eyes rest, let your mind loosen, and let the calm rhythm of this tale guide you deeper into a tranquil, drifting state as we begin our slow journey into one of the most mesmerizing enigmas in the world. For centuries, stories have circulated of ancient civilizations, Mayan, Aztec, even Atlantean, creating crystal artifacts with impossible precision. But among all those legends, none are quite as captivating as the 13 crystal skulls said to be scattered across the world. Each one carved from a single massive quartz crystal. Each one smooth, transparent, and impossibly detailed. And each one said to hold within it secrets that stretch far beyond human history. Our story begins in the humid jungles of Central America, where early explorers reported encountering strange artifacts during excavations of temples and ruined palaces. The skulls were sometimes found alone, resting atop stone pedestals deep within forgotten chambers. Other times, they were discovered in sealed caskets, wrapped in colorful woven cloth whose patterns spoke of rituals and ancient reverence. But the first truly famous skull surfaced in the 1920s. It was known as the Mitchell-Hedges skull, discovered by a young girl named Anna Mitchell-Hedges while her father participated in excavations in Belize. Some say she found it under a collapsed altar, its crystalline surface catching the sunlight and glowing as though alive. When she lifted it, it felt strangely warm, and according to her later accounts, she could hear a faint ringing in her ears, almost like a distant whisper. Whether or not her story was embellished, the skull itself was undeniably extraordinary, carved with perfect symmetry. The jaw fully articulated, every detail of the human skull reproduced with astonishing accuracy. Modern craftspeople, even with advanced tools, have admitted they would struggle to recreate it. And yet, here it was supposedly thousands of years old, made by a civilization that had no metal tools. But this skull was only the beginning. As decades passed, more skulls began to appear. Some were housed in museums. Others surfaced in private collections. A few emerged from obscure markets in places like Mexico City, Guatemala, and Brazil. Some had smooth surfaces. Others bore engravings of serpents, suns, and geometric symbols. And slowly, the legend began to form. There were 13 of them. 13 skulls, said to be connected. 13 artifacts whose functions remained unknown. In time, people began to whisper that these skulls were not merely art, but records, ancient, crystalline storage devices capable of holding information. A memory library carved in stone. Scientific testing only deepened the mystery. When experts examined several skulls under microscopic analysis, they could not find any tool marks, no chisel marks, no scratches from carving, no polishing grooves. It was as if the material had been shaped by something other than physical tools. Some scientists proposed that the quartz might have been slowly abraded with sand over centuries. But the problem with that theory was the sheer precision of the internal structures, lenses, prisms, and focal points carved directly into the crystal. The skulls refracted light in unusual ways, casting sharp beams and rainbows across rooms. A few researchers noticed another strange detail. When intense light passed through certain skulls, the beams emerged reorganized as if they had traveled through a complex optical circuit. That alone sparked speculation that whatever crafted these skulls had an understanding of optics far beyond the civilizations they were attributed to. As the legend spread, more unusual accounts surfaced. Museum workers reported hearing soft hums or faint ringing noises when alone in rooms with the skulls. Some visitors claimed to feel tingling in their fingertips when touching their surfaces. Others described vivid dreams after seeing them, dreams of ancient cities, tall stone temples, and long corridors lit with torches. None of these experiences were scientifically verified, of course. Still, the stories only added to the crystal skull mythology. And then there was the most intriguing part, the belief that the skulls were meant to come together. According to certain indigenous, oral traditions, particularly stories told among some Maya elders, these artifacts were designed as part of a set. The 13 skulls, once assembled, would reveal knowledge vital to humanity. They would open the gateway to understanding our past, or, according to some interpretations, they would warn humanity of events yet to come. No one knew whether these stories were ancient truths or modern inventions. But the idea of 13 interconnected skulls persisted. And as more researchers traveled across the world, they uncovered hidden references in old manuscripts, mentions of talking stones, transparent heads, and crystals that remember. Meanwhile, in laboratories, scientists continued their analyses. Tests showed that some skulls were made from quartz deposits not found anywhere near the regions where they supposedly originated. Others seemed to emit tiny electrical pulses when exposed to heat or light, nothing supernatural, but enough to hint that quartz, a natural piezoelectric material, might behave in unexpected ways when carved into precise shapes. Some researchers suggested that the skulls were deliberately engineered to enhance certain frequencies or create resonance fields. But all of this remains speculative. Still, people wondered, if ancient civilizations didn't have the tools to carve these skulls, then who did? Some believe the skulls were Atlantean artifacts, remnants of a technologically advanced civilization lost to time. Others claimed extraterrestrial origins, saying the skulls were left behind as messages to humanity. A more grounded theory suggested that they were crafted much later, perhaps in the 18th or 19th century, by extremely skilled artisans. But even this theory struggled to explain the lack of tool marks and the perfect symmetry. Strangely enough, not all skulls appeared identical in craftsmanship. Some, undeniably, were modern replicas. But a small handful, the ones long studied by historians and scientists, displayed the same impossible level of precision. And yet, the story deepens further. In the 1990s, a private collector claimed to possess a skull unlike any other one, made from smoky quartz with delicate channels carved inside, like veins running through a gemstone. He claimed that when he placed it under laser light, an image formed inside the skull. The image, he said, resembled a glyph, some kind of ancient symbol. He kept the skull hidden, locked inside a temperature-controlled vault. He allowed only a few researchers to examine it, and all left with more questions than answers. The vault, according to rumors, also contained something else, fragments of a manuscript that referenced the Circle of 13, a ritual gathering of the skulls said to take place once every 5,200 years. This number appeared frequently in Mesoamerican calendars, marking the end of certain world cycles. Whether this manuscript was authentic or not, nobody could say. But it added another layer of intrigue. Then there were testimonies from indigenous elders who spoke of the skulls as if they were live repositories of wisdom left by ancestors who witnessed the rise and fall of ages. These elders talked about the skulls being activated through ceremonies, singing, and rhythmic vibrations. Their stories suggested that the skulls responded to sound, perhaps resonating with frequencies from ancient rituals. Modern researchers attempted to replicate these ceremonies by placing skulls in acoustic chambers. Interestingly, some skulls did resonate. When specific frequencies passed through them, tiny vibrations traveled through their internal structures, causing faint shimmering patterns to appear within. Nothing supernatural, just physics interacting with quartz. But it hinted at a deeper design. Throughout the world, more skulls continued appearing in remote collections. Some were transparent, others cloudy. A few had strange inclusions in side shapes resembling eyes, feathers, or spirals. Whether natural or deliberately carved, no one could determine. And then, the most remarkable discovery occurred. In a small museum archive in Mexico, researchers uncovered an old box mislabeled and forgotten for years. Inside, wrapped in multiple layers of cloth, was a crystal skull that appeared older and more eroded than any previously found. Its surface carried faint engraving symbols believed to represent time cycles and star paths. The quartz composition of this skull did not match any known source in the region. In fact, it matched quartz found thousands of kilometers away, across the ocean. This single fact reopened debates about ancient transoceanic contact. If the skull was authentic, it might mean ancient civilizations traveled farther than we ever believed. And so the story of the 13 skulls continued, unfolding piece by piece, like an ancient puzzle carved not from stone alone, but from whispers, legends, and unanswered questions. Even today, only a handful of skulls are accessible to the public. Others are locked in private collections. Some may still be buried underground, waiting for the moment someone stumbles upon them. And at least a few, if the legends are true, might never have been found at all. But no matter where they are, the skulls continue to fascinate us. Not because we know what they are, but because we don't. As you lie here, drifting deeper into a calm and peaceful rest, imagine the soft glow of a crystal skull illuminated by candlelight, its smooth surface glowing faintly, its clear quartz reflecting infinite patterns. Think of the civilizations who might have touched it, the hands that carved it, and the stories lost inside it. Perhaps the skulls are simply beautiful artifacts. Or perhaps they are messages meant to be discovered when the world is ready to understand them. For now, they remain silent, patient, waiting, and as their mystery endures, so does the timeless allure of the unknown. Rest now, let the quiet shimmer of the crystal skulls guide you gently into deep, peaceful sleep.